Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. If you're new here, if you're not new, welcome back. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and far too many opinions. And it is April, which means it is Autism Awareness Month. And you know what that means. It is time to exploit your child's neurospicy noggin to sell a course or your scammy products. Before we get started and really just, subject ourselves to infuriating misinformation and fear-mongering, medical and maternal fear-mongering, to be precise, let's go ahead and go over some fun, spicy facts. Did you know that ASD, also known as Autism Spectrum Disorder, is more common in men than it is women? And also that it is typically harder to diagnose women, especially grown women, with autism spectrum disorder as we get older because we learn to mask, to pretend, to put on our show. Because that's showbiz. You got to pretend to be normal. Did you know that a lot of not very intelligent and easily manipulated people still believe that vaccinations cause autism when they in fact do not? It just happens that as a little human, you have gotten most of your scheduled vaccinations by the time that you would be able to really tell that your kid is autistic. So correlation does not equal causation. Let's keep that in mind. Also, autism now affects 1 in 36 children. And I know a lot of people do not like people joking about autism. I personally find comfort in that. I know y'all, prior to me actually getting my diagnosis, were like, yeah, girl, we been new. We could have told you that. It's not like I'm treating it or anything because there's not really anything I can do. It just gives me comfort and helps me to understand myself better. And I do understand the privilege in that most people are not able to afford getting a diagnosis like that or going through testing or even finding a specialist in their area. So let's acknowledge that. I do understand that. However, that is how I handle things. That is how I cope with stuff. And I personally I say that I don't take things too seriously. And then I'm crying at the end of this video because of autism. Anyways, like I said, 1 in 36 children are affected with autism and are affected by autism. And that can be anything on the spectrum, any type of autism spectrum disorder, because there are a lot of different stems, attributes, things, aspects. Listen, I'm not a doctor. Oh, hey, also, I'm not a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, a professional singer, a mathematician, a professor, a cop, a lawyer. Did I already say lawyer? Yeah, I did. There are different levels, so to speak, when it comes to autism. About 40% of children with autism do not speak. And I like to personally say more so non-speaking rather than nonverbal, because girl, they be verbal. You be squawking and squeaking all over the place. But the more common term is nonverbal, just like the more common terminology is on the spectrum. And of course, like I said, a lot of people don't like that, but people are going to say things that you don't like. It sucks. It's fine. Whatever. Use the vernacular that you are comfortable using because you can't control what other people say. The rate of autism, or rather autism diagnoses, have been steadily growing over the last 20 years. Oh my God, there's a squirrel. ADHD. So with that, one thing that I would like to say is have cancer diagnoses. And I think that's just really interesting is that a lot of people can say, well, oh, what are we doing? No one used to have ADHD or autism, back in my day. And it's boomer, Lord Boomington. That's false. It's just that we didn't have the tools and the knowledge to diagnose it. For instance, realistically, back when I was even 20 years ago, I was 13. I'm so old. Ugh. So 25 years ago, when I was 7, in the elementary school that I went to, there were quite a few kids that were autistic, but they were in the special education classes. And I feel really, again, back then, you weren't seeing people who were not seeing people, but it wasn't diagnosed or whatever of you being high functioning. I was about to say autismo. That's what my brother says. He's also autistic. We're a little autistic sibling sandwich. But with that, what I'm trying to say is that, yes, there were people that were autistic back then. It's just that it wasn't able to be diagnosed and we didn't have the knowledge that we do today. And maybe people weren't as vocal about it. And again, that conversation comes up too when it comes to people being gay, right? You'll hear people be like, oh my gosh, everyone's gay these days. Or oh, there's so many more gay people now than there were back then. No, there's not. There's really not. It's just that people are more comfortable and you have a lesser chance of being jailed, stoned to death, or just like straight up ostracized and murdered if you come out as gay or come out with some type of something that's spicy about you. And also because of social media and the media in general, we do have a level of access to information that we didn't previously. So keep that in mind. I know I'm going real deep into all this and these are basically disclaimers, but I just want to go over all of that. And this subject does obviously hit close to home for me. Not only, are multiple people in my family and even my immediate family, me included, diagnosed with autism, but multiple people of my, close friends have children who are autistic, and I have other friends who are autistic as well, and all over the spectrum. So it does frustrate me a lot. I really do hate it when people take advantage of not only autistic individuals, but now me being a mom as well, people who are worried for their children. You want to manipulate a mom into doing something, fearmonger her and manipulate her with basically scaring her about her child's health. You think faith manipulation's bad? Manipulate a mom using her kids, okay? But also don't, because I'll punch you in the face. That's a joke. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. And the sponsor of today's video, Morgan & Morgan, does not settle for lowball offers. Insurance companies often lowball clients' claims. Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the money that you deserve. Size matters, and all injury law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan is the largest for a reason. They have won a lot. Just in the last couple of months, Morgan & Morgan has seen verdicts of $12 million in Florida, which is 34 times the highest offer, $26 million in Philadelphia, which is 40 times the highest offer, and $6.8 million in New York. And that was 25 times the highest offer. And the fee is absolutely free unless you win. If you are in an accident or injured in any way, you should know how to protect your rights. Don't overthink it. Take action to protect your rights. And Morgan & Morgan will fight for that compensation that you deserve. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process, so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your smartphone. Did you know that you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm with just one click? Well, you can, and it's so easy. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/CCSUAREZ, or go ahead and click the link in the description box. Thank you again, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video. Autism is not curable, just like with ADHD. Not something really that is curable. Treatable, sure. There are things that can definitely help you in regards to functioning on a normal, day-to-day basis, especially with being, an adult lady. A lot of us that are a little bit of ADHD, as y'all have brought to my attention that it's called, I guess, ADHD and autism mixed together. Little cocktail of terror there. I know a lot of us being medicated really helps us on both aspects with that. I have said so many times, I'm like a different person when I'm on my medication. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, I am me. I am a husk of a human. I am a saggy bag of pancake batter when I'm not on my medication. My brain just don't work. It's not going to help you with autism or help your kid or cure your kid's autism? A throat spray or Arbonne powders. You heard me right, girly girl. Also, raise your hand in the comments if you're a little bit autistic, a little bit gay. Riz me with the tizzy, girl. I really want to get a shirt that says that. Rism with the tism, but all the ones I've seen are weird. I saw a cute one with a frog on it. I really want it. Ooh, maybe I can tell my girl at a coffee shop in Co. that she should make one. A sweatshirt or something that has that on it. I'll DM her. Here's her Instagram page. She makes the cutest stuff. Not sponsored. Okay, let's go ahead and go over this because this crazy. So there are a few other people who have exploited their child's autism and their child's mental illness or whatever. And then there's this other girl who we're gonna focus on because I don't usually use words like despise or anything like that just because, or hate or anything like that because I don't care that deeply. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to feel those things typically, but I don't like this human. There's that. All right, so this is the same girl. Ooh, are all of them? We took a calculated risk. That's never good. We started giving our anxious, moody, emotional daughter a natural supplement, and what happened blew us away. Listen, your child is brand new. They haven't been alive for long. Comparably, I don't know, man. It's just they got big feelings in tiny bodies. Are they going to be a terror sometimes? Absolutely. But let them feel their feelings. Also, I don't know, maybe go see a doctor. And guess what? I know what it's like to see psychiatrists. It took me a long time. I think I had two that I didn't like, and one of them like had a crush on my mom in high school and like kept telling me about it. And he's like, so what's your mom up to? And I'm like, married. Shut up. Gross. But my doctors before and after that I've loved, and my current one, Dr. Northrup, is bless his heart. Anyways, so you just go see a psychiatrist, buddy. Like someone who meshes with you. And I know, again, easier said than done. That is like a very privileged thing for me to say, but it's better than this. And guess what? Out of pocket, it's probably going to cost you less than whatever that you're giving your kid. Also, how hilarious that her shirt just, the little girl's shirt says good vibes only. It doesn't sound like you got good vibes only, girlfriend. It said within hours, she was happier, less emotional, not anxious, and back to enjoying life as a kid should. It sounds like she was upset about something. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like she's being a kid. They're all over the place. My kid's squawking. We did it. We gave her something holistic. It sounds like you gave her an Arbonne powder or the happy juice. When I told my husband about it, he looked at me. You're speaking to him. I hope he looked at you when you're speaking to him. I'm pretty much laughed. Then I said to him, what can it hurt? It's all natural. Girl, are you on it? Because it doesn't sound like you. It sounds like you're drunk. Oh my God. I know that profile picture. That lady's the one who was sued and was supposed to not be in another MLM ever again. She was sued by the FTC or someone. Holy crap. This lady's been in so many MLMs. It's crazy. That's amazing. I love it so much, but I also hate it. Maybe your husband laughed because he was like, wow, I can't believe you're doing this shit again. You're about to get sued by a government entity again. He just assumed that since it was natural that it wouldn't work because, we've all tried natural things that don't do crap. And then it says follow blah, blah, blah for more natural remedies. Witch hazel's natural. And if you've had a baby or you got hemorrhoids, you probably know that shit's amazing. Eucalyptus is awesome. Girl, eucalyptus, lavender, put that in a bath. I have lavender room spray in our bedroom right now. And girl, love it so much. I love that so much. Like there's a lot of things you can, like natural things that, are good. And it's like not that big of a deal. It's okay. But then there's also things that are natural that, like, for instance, that kid, he'd be popping twofers all over. He's got a fang. He's got this one right here is popped up. When he's running 100-degree fever because that tooth is about to rip through his gums and he's just in so much pain, I give him infant Tylenol. Absolutely. Is infant Tylenol natural? No, it's not. But you know what is natural? Poison ivy. And I'm not going to give that to my kid. Arsenic is also natural. I'm not going to give that to my kid. I was about to say bleach. Chelsea, bleach is not natural. But for adults, someone else said Xanax. And they said, I've been looking for something. I'll DM you. Oh my God. And then she posted another reel about it. And it says, most parents don't know this is a symptom of childhood anxiety that often gets dismissed. Girl, stop exploiting your child and filming her while she's crying, while she's upset, so that you can sell whatever BS that you're selling. That is so offensive and I hate it. Here are the symptoms of childhood anxiousness. Belly hurts. Maybe they just have gas. Outbursts, extreme emotions, never wanting to leave parents, can't focus. Not wanting to go to school, irritable. A lot of parents think that these are their kids just misbehaving or looking for attention. I would say that it's them going through emotions and we got to figure out, why do you feel this way? It's quite the millennial parent in me, but it's just disgusting. I hate it so much. This woman is very, very gross. And people are commenting and being like, help me. Send me the info. This was me when I was a kid. But now we have Kara Garcia, who has 230,000 followers on Instagram and, annoyingly enough, 1 million friends gross on TikTok. I hate it a lot. Now, as you can tell from her Instagram highlights, she's awful. So it says V in injury. So I guess I didn't want to get too far into that one because that would have really annoyed me. And don't get me wrong, it's possible to have a vaccine injury. Those are extremely rare. And if you are able-bodied enough, please get your children vaccinated and do not listen to fear-mongering, gross misinformation. Also, doing your research or doing your own research, are you going into the lab in doing a research? What are you doing? Looking on TikTok or following dummies like this doesn't mean doing research. That is that's being manipulated, let's be honest. All right, so these highlights here, we have autism course. Of course. We've gone over courses about sex, about selling courses, about making courses, about growing your social media, and now about autism. Cannot wait. Of course, it was really just the natural next step in the progression here. And then we have 15 pounds in 30 days. That's not very healthy. Greens, client reviews, my story. Tell you one thing I don't want to hear is your story. And then ADHD highlight. Now, if we go into her Instagram stories, she all the time is promoting her free guide for her autism course. So I love a guide. I love it. I don't love this though, because this is not a free guide. I don't know what this is. And it says life with Ligha. I don't know. Life with L. Hi friends. I have had so many moms to ask step by step what I have done to help my son with autism progress with his speech, behavior, and overall well-being. Therapy could be so helpful. So helpful. And creating a safe space for him and knowing what his triggers are. But you know what? Instead of that, constantly try to detox your child. I hope this information helps you help your little one too. To find the product, simply click on the picture and it will take you to it. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Kara, then what is this? Like, what are you doing? Detoxing. Detoxing is very important for all of our bodies, but especially for a child's body who can't detox on their own. Why can't they detox on their own? That's what our kidneys do. That's what our livers do. Doesn't our spleen do that too? Pretty sure our spleen does that too. Gallbladder, maybe. That's what our organs do, right? Our kids have the same organs that we do. Do they not? Kara, clearly you're not a doctor. Good God. Unfortunately, we are all exposed to heavy metals in today's world because of the pesticides and herbicides sprayed on our food. The chemtrails and smoking/vaping that is polluting the air. Now listen, love buying some organic stuff. I am starting my vegetable garden now too. Thank God I'm propagating right now and then starting it up. Because one, we eat a lot of vegetables and I would like to obviously save money, but then there's like not many things more satisfying than like eating the food that you growed in your own dirt. And then also three, I don't know, I just like to know where it comes from, You see what we're dealing with, right? Okay. Is the government out to get us? I mean, basically and probably. The water from dirty pipes and the obvious vaccines. Oh, no. Oh, Lord. I would love to be at a dinner party with this person and just corner her, or rather let her corner me and have her get so crazy. Just like there's almost nothing better than growing your own food. You growed in your own dirt and eating it. But there's also almost nothing better than in person, like egging on the conversation and see, it's like a game you can play of like how crazy you can get them to go with like conspiracies with like a conspiracy theorist like this person. I'm sure she calls herself a critical thinker though. The reasons this is an issue is because heavy metals can pass through the blood-brain barrier. Girl, where are your sources for this information? And cause damage to the brain as well as many other side effects. Detoxing your child can help their bodies get rid of heavy metals. I trusted this detox and this detox alone because it's a natural zeolite, that is mined from volcanic ash. There are others that are made in labs. Whomst? What? This lady's gonna throw her child into a volcano because he has autism. This natural blah, blah, blah has a positive charge and the heavy metals a negative charge. She's gonna put her kid in a volcano using a giant Acme Corporation style magnet. Wile E. Coyote, I'm going to need you to sit down. Zeolite is a mineral that our body does not need. So when our child takes the blah, 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 it will not be absorbed into the body. That's not how that works. Alcohol is literally poison. And that is not something that our bodies need, yet our bodies absorb it. Like when it doesn't just pass through you. So when your child takes this, blah, blah, it's not absorbed into the body. Instead, it will bind to the heavy metals and be removed from your child's body through detox pathways. Please, pray hands, make sure you open your child's detox pathways before detoxing. You never want to start detoxing without opening the detox pathways first. I have a question. I saw an Instagram story about her opening up the detox pathways. I thought she was talking about like nasal passages. How is she opening up where the pee and poo comes from? Mom, pick me up. I'm scared. What? What are you doing to your kid? Dear God. Okay. Click the picture below for $50 off the detox pack. Pure Body Extra. Gut health, healing the gut, I hate the word gut, is so important, especially for someone with ASD. The gut is considered the second brain, and children with autism typically have poor gut health. The reason this is an issue is because their bodies cannot perform the way that they need to when their gut isn't absorbing the nutrients that it needs. This can lead to nutrient deficiencies as well as learning delays and disabilities. That's not right. This step is probably the most important step. And it's usually the one that moms struggle with the most. One of the biggest differences I noticed with my son when we improved his gut health was his behavior. His behavior is night and day, and he's eating nutrient-dense foods versus garbage. But the thing is, though, is that I feel like anyone with not cognitive, with a learning disability, with a ADHD, with autism, with depression, anything like that, like when your brain receptors or whatever, you got a chemical imbalance in your head, your noggin ain't really up to par, right? You should be eating like good foods, but that also doesn't mean that you need to like restrict every single thing. Like that's not okay. Don't do that because that creates or can create, food insecurity or unhealthy eating habits, disordered eating, all that, especially when they're kids. But then more so than that, anyone who's eating better, like making good food choices versus like eating a crap ton of processed foods and fast food and, just not healthy food, right? No you're going to feel better. Like most children with autism are either constipated all the time or have diarrhea. Me, same and same. These children should avoid antibiotics at all costs, as well as Miralax. Check my Instagram highlight for details. Healing their gut is essential to learning nutrition and behavior. If you click the picture below, it'll take you to the bio sticks. These biotic sticks have helped my son tremendously in healing his gut health. They are also in powder form, which is important because pill form gets destroyed in the gut. And they taste like Smarties, so you don't have to fight them to take them. That's not true. And yes, she is in Arbonne, obviously. That sucks. What's interesting is that she's talking about this and it's like I don't want to say an easy fix, but she's talking about all this. And I feel like this is really a way to like fear monger. Then she goes on to talk about a mutation that people have. We're like the X-Men now, I guess. And then she talks about glutathione, whatever the this is. People with ASD don't create enough of this gluteus maximus. In fact, they produce 50% less than the average person. This is what causes them to have a much heavier toxic load than others. This is especially important for reducing oxidative stress in children with ASD. It helps the body get rid of toxic cells. You don't say. So if your child is not producing enough, they will get sick easier. A poor immune system, neurological, cardiovascular, and inflammatory problems, chronic diseases are linked to low levels of blah, 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 blah. I have linked the one we use. This one is my preference, but anything in liquid form, because anything in liquid form is destroyed in the gut. Girl, pills is destroyed. So like solids are destroyed, liquids are destroyed. Like what do you feed your kid? And leave their butt alone. And then there's a support group. Don't do that. Don't join that, please. Oh, that's annoying. I didn't realize that it says frightening trend. And it says in 2010, diagnosis rising. Did we just get better at diagnosing? And did we just start to understand that it is truly a spectrum and a scale and that it's not just cut and dry people who are non-speaking? Like there's levels, baby. I'm level 1. Let's go. Some people just have a touch of the tism, okay? 1 in 2,500, 1 in 150, 1 in 54, 1 in 32. And of course, there can be misdiagnoses. And it says, I have no idea. Yes, gut health is so important. And then she wrote a caption on here that says, it's skyrocketing, but I guess if ignoring makes you more comfortable, that's fine. But with these numbers, someone you love will be next. Will be next? Girl, autism is not a serial killer. It needs to be addressed. Yeah, with therapy. Poor gut health should be, oh my God, poor gut health should be the real pandemic because poor gut health in mothers is what leaves these children susceptible to damage from the poke and heavy metals in our foods, baby formula, etc. Doctors know this. So I think she meant to say do you, but like, do you? Also, just because someone's a doctor, don't mean they're smart. Y'all remember the guy who tried to say that autism's caused by a vaccine? Mans is an idiot.
Helping your child heal is such an honorable thing to do. There's nothing dishonorable about that. And I think accepting that your child has autism.
There's nothing dishonorable about that, except for when it's something that can't be healed. It's giving Jessie Lee Ward how she's said multiple times in other things I've found where she's like, oh, I don't want to use the word cure, but like you can heal it. What's the difference between those two things for y'all? Like, because there is no cure for it. Like you can address it, you can treat it, but there's no cure, there's no healing. Like it's still there. And yeah, it is not honorable to subject your kid to like this craziness when like, are they in therapy? Like, do you have them in speech therapy? Like, what are you, girl, you're about to fuck this kid up.
Doesn't mean that you have to be like, okay, well, they're never going to talk and I should never do anything to help them. To me, that is so weird. Like that's weird behavior to me.
Either or fallacy. All right. And definitely some binary thinking here of thinking like, oh, well, there's only, natural versus medical, like it says here on her Instagram story, or, I'm healing my child through, these other ways. And the only other option is to just accept that my kid is autistic and that they're never going to speak ever again. Or speech therapy. And also you doing that with them, like, learn how to communicate with your kid in whichever way is best for them. As an autismo myself, can't stand her.
It's weird that people think there's something wrong with me for helping my child, but then I will see children who have autism that are on 20 different medications that are literally, they have the poorest quality of life I've ever seen.
Everyone is different. It affects everyone differently. I mean, not every single person, but it affects a lot of people differently. And what works for some might not work for others. What triggers some people might not trigger others. Some people might find certain things soothing, and something someone finds soothing, I could want to rip my skin off. It could make me itchy. I could break out in hives because of it. This is just very annoying. It's like undercover binary thinking, because once she's trying to justify of, oh, well, I do this and people think it's weird that I'm doing this and that I'm trying to help my kid. That's not what it is. It's that you're exploiting your child to make money off of this course. And if you weren't just here to help people, again, that false altruism, if you were really just trying to help people, you would put that out there for free. If that was really just your sole purpose was to help people, because, all that. Kind of like the free digital marketing guide I put out, which, hey, listen, eventually, like I said in my video about it, I might charge like $5 eventually, but right now it's free. Also, y'all are insane and crazy, and I love it, because I didn't know that there was like a little donation thing on my, like no one had ever done that before on my website. On Fourth Wall. Like I knew it was there, but I was always like, that's weird. What was that? Yeah, y'all went a little bit crazy. And a lot of y'all had donated like $5, $1, $10, whatever. And someone donated $333. And then they DM'd me and I was like, what? Excuse me? That's crazy. But thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all basically paid for me to buy her course.
And that's acceptable. Like that it blows my mind.
If you have me sped up, put me at normal level, because she is sped up at 1.5 right now for me. So if you have me sped up right now, you won't understand anything she's saying. So
pre-order it. Pre-ordering it secures you a spot. The reason you would want to do that is, one, it's going to be less than half of what it'll be if you buy it after. 2, I'm going to include a Q&A and a free recipe book. So it's going to be a lot for a little, if that makes sense. I get so many moms that want my help and I want to help them, but I am one person. And so having a course will allow you guys to have access to something you can watch in your free time. It's not, like it'll be recorded. And also giving moms access to doing it at their pace. Everybody's at a different level. If people need more coaching than what's given in that, then I can do coaching calls, but that's what I'm going to do as of right now.
Girl, for what? Like, you don't have any qualifications other than, 1, being delusional, but 2, having a kid with a level 3 autism diagnosis. It's crazy, just like the insane difference between her and Alexis. I don't know what level her son's diagnosis is, and that's none of my business. You can have a child or family member, or rather, you can even have a diagnosis and not make it your entire personality. Y'all know that, right?
So that being said, guys, I'm a lot further along, I think, than most moms who are in this journey, which means I know what I'm going to cover, but maybe they're
further along. No, girl, you just monetized it. That's it. You just, maybe more evil, more diabolical, maybe.
So I'm going to leave a Q&A box. Please let me know if you do have any questions. And the last day to enroll will be the 31st.
How to enroll? And message me and I'll send you an invoice. Yikes. Will this course help me heal my son? I'm desperate. I'll do anything. Oh my God, that's awful. And she said, this course will help you to have the tools to help your child heal their gut. Understand the process of detoxification and how you can help your child through that process. Give the tools to change diet behavior. Just changing your diet isn't going to change the behavior. Like, I've known a lot of real healthy psychopaths, okay? And the knowledgeable and understanding. Girl, you ain't got no knowledgeable. Get it together. An understanding of why children with autism function the way they function and how you can support their genes. Specifically. No, girl. Not their Levi's. Their Donna. Their DNA. Dino DNA.
I feel like a lot of other women that I've seen on here with their courses use that to kind of manipulate people. Like, I will reverse your child's autism. I'll heal them from autism. And then charge $5,000 for a course with this promise of hope that your child's going to be healed. To be extremely cautious of anybody that was making those kind of claims, because while I do believe the body is created to heal itself, yes, I do believe, I mean, you guys have seen Elijah's journey before his vaccines, after his injury, him in present day, like, he is thriving, honestly. But I don't believe that you can undo the brain damage done by those heavy metals. Maybe with brain stem cell therapy, which to my knowledge, they don't offer in the US, they offer in like Finland and other places. But just because you can't undo the brain damage doesn't mean you cannot help your child live a better quality of life. It's going to look a little bit different for everybody, right? The heavy metals in a child's brain is going to look different for one child.
This is the part that will be taught. Most parents don't understand how to detox, how to clean up the gut, how to support your child's genetics. Girl, we're not like splicing molecules here. Like, what are you doing? How to make sure you are prepared for the next child, because heavy toxic load runs in families, which is why most autism spectrum disorder families like myself have more than one child with autism or children with other poke injuries. Like eczema and ADHD. You got itchy, red, crusty skin. Guess what? I got that on my scalp. That's not from a vaccine. Like these anti-vaxxers, these people who think that like vaccines are to blame for everything. Like, girl, that's genetic. Like, what about depression? Do you believe in depression? Where's my depression come from? Probably rubbing like fermented flaxseed all over my butt cheeks. Eczema and ADHD. Well, guess what, girl? I'd rather have ADHD and eczema and psoriasis and any other I got than polio. I don't know if y'all go here with your brain. I'm about to get a little bit morbid up in here, as one does. But it makes me think how, and don't get me wrong, you can have absolutely more than one child who is autistic or at some level or whatever. I mean, in my family, there's 2 of us, right? And I know multiple people who have multiple family members who are diagnosed autistic as well, but at any level. However, I don't know. I just sometimes with like people like this, how they're like, oh, this is caused by this and this is caused by this. And it's like, no, it's really not. And so it makes me think like, I'm not diagnosing her with anything, I promise. Is just where my brain goes. Is this like a Munchausen by proxy situation? Like what are the odds that like your kids do have all these things wrong with them? And then they're just like magically healed because you sucked liquid metal out of their butt. It's just like so sad. It's just so sad because I've known, and like that is a form of abuse. I'm not saying she's abusing her kids. I'm just saying like situations and people like that. And it's just so, that's where like the fear mongering and the mistrust of actual like scientific data. And yes, science changes. That's the point of science, is to challenge what we already know and to learn more. If something's false, there's no evidence to prove something, then like, what's going on here? Also, there is a difference between being someone who is just absolutely perfectly healthy and refuses to get vaccinated. I don't mean the schmovid vaccine. I mean like the normal, regularly scheduled vaccines. That's what I mean. And like your flu shot and shit like that, right? Because those are different, very different types of vaccines even. So keep that in mind. And yes, I'm going to say that if you are capable of getting yourself and your children vaccinated and you are refusing to because of some wild theories and conspiracies, you are crusty. And in turn, then your kids are crusty too. And you are putting other people's children and other people in danger. And that's not okay. Absolutely not okay. That's one thing that sucks is like, there are people out here who are like, I don't want my kids indoctrinated by the school system. I don't want them like vaccinated. I gotta keep them home. Meanwhile, I'm like, I can't trust these schools to guarantee that all these kids are going to be vaccinated and that crusty little demon isn't going to get my little goblin sick. And like, yes, mine has all of his vaccines because we're not disgusting. I know there's going to be people in the comments who are like going off about this. Girlfriend, Am I specifically talking about you? Do you have a disease or something or a disorder where you actually cannot get vaccinated? Then okay, shut up. Some y'all be taking things too personally. I ain't talking about you. Y'all see how there was rat and some girls Alani knew? We got to make a video about that because that's disgusting. And those owners of the company are like super QAnoners. It's fascinating.
Not every child has the same genetic makeup. Like, it's impossible to say, like, your child is going to be exactly like my child. They may be better. They may be worse. We don't know. So I would just be very cautious of anybody.
Your kid may be better at being autistic than I am.
I feel like it's such clickbait, and it's so sad because there are a lot of people who are swindled into pulling out a loan for something like that, which is why I have made this so affordable, because I know not everybody can afford something like that, but what I'm charging is nowhere near what other people are charging.
She's this close. This close. Okay? Isn't it wild that she's like, people are swindled, people are manipulated, but my course is affordable. First of all, affordable is subjective. What's affordable for me may not be affordable for you. What's affordable for my sister may not be affordable for me, right? That's very, very subjective and a per person case. If that course ain't affordable. She gives these disclaimers and like these warnings that like, hey, I'm not a doctor, but then also goes further and says like, yeah, other people are like saying they can cure you and blah, 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 but then continues to put out very dangerous information, false information, continues to fearmonger and like using medical misinformation. It's truly crazy.
Had a lot of you guys say,
okay, so she goes on this and said, and if anyone thinks I'm like taking like clips out of order or like editing this to where it makes her sound worse, no, you can go to her page and look at it if you want. Go for it. But she goes on to say doctors are taught to treat symptoms and not find out like the root cause of stuff. Can be true. Again, it depends on like your doctor and your relationship with them. Just like how I was saying before, like your relationship like with your psychiatrist or whoever you see. Feeding into this, oh, I don't want to treat it. I want to be proactive and like stop it. It's also feeding into the fear or the mistrust of, medical professionals when it comes to, COVID as well. And obviously autism and diagnoses and all that. But when it comes to COVID as well, because it was like, okay, well, we kind of know how to treat it, but like, what do I do to like avoid it? Like there wasn't really like a medicine you could take when you got it. You just kind of had to like tough it out. It was very weird. I get what she's saying, but also like your kid's gonna get sick unless you just don't have them go outside and never speak to anyone, or unless they're Jake Gyllenhaal in Bubble Boy. That movie is amazing. Probably my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movie. So again, feeding into the mistrust and the, medical, maternal fear mongering. And it sucks and it's gross and I hate it. So she goes on more to talk about other courses and how people are charging so much money for them, how that's what they included. It was like talking about Young Living products and swishing oils and doing yoga to like cure your autism. It's just very interesting.
It includes one-on-one coaching. It includes 4 weeks of me going over all of the things that I just named. And guys, I also allow you to do payments. But once it is launched, March 31st is the last day to pre-enroll. It will launch April 19th. It will no longer be $250. It will be $550. And it's pre-recorded so you can watch it in your own time.
$250 for a course that is apparently going to heal your kid's autism. And then, can this heal my autism? Then it's going to double in price. Why? Oh, I'm dumb. That's just a marketing tactic. It's just so that people will hurry up and buy it at $250. She's just creating urgency. That's all that is. This person has no qualifications, nothing medical, nothing, no training. She has an internet connection, unfortunately. That's all she has.
Watch it in your own time. So if you guys have questions, let me know because I am tailoring it to you. But that is how, because I made it my mission to be. Thank you so much. I know what it cost.
No question. I just wanted to say thank you for making your resources so affordable. $250 and then $500, that's not affordable.
I've seen other autism courses, and the crazy thing is people in the autism community talk, so I've seen the inside of a lot of these courses, and it's like, do yoga and switch on guard, and I don't know, like maybe that could be helpful, but to me that just seems it seems like fluff, or it just doesn't seem real, honestly. And so I know that I could be charging way more, but I wanted to make this so affordable for people, which is why I offer a lot of free resources. So thank you. So I have a highlight that says autism journey, detox Q&A. Like it goes, you can see my son before his injury, after his injury, before detoxing, after detoxing.
Oh my God. She's literally telling people to do a autism bath. Yeah, it just sounds like your kid aged and he developed more, cognitively. Correlation does not equal causation.
And I hate this question only because I feel like it gives parents this unrealistic expectation because they don't know what went on behind the scenes. So In 2019, I knew something was wrong after Elijah's injury. I knew it. And I'd gone to my mother-in-law and I was like, I think he has autism.
2019. So he was like 1 or 2? Girl.
Gone to my mother-in-law and I was like, I think he has autism. And she ripped my head clean off. She's like, he's not handicapped. Well, I didn't know what autism was at the time. So I'm like, yeah, she's right. Like he's clearly not handicapped. This kid is so smart, but he's just not talking. And like every time I was Googling what he was doing, I'm like, autism was coming up. So I was reading up and everybody's saying detox, detox, detox. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to detox him. So I started detoxing him. Within 24 hours, he was parroting. So he wasn't talking on his own. But if I would say like, Elijah, do you want breakfast? He'd say, Elijah, you want breakfast? Like he literally was like a parrot. Do you want more? Say more, please. Want more, please. I was detoxing him. His behavior was horrible. And I'm like,
not only like a little kid thing, but also that's an autism thing too. Like, I do that shit. I feel like this person themselves was manipulated and indoctrinated and really gave into the fear as well, instead of like, I don't even know. I don't know. I just got diagnosed last year, 2 years ago. So like, who am I to talk? But it gives me Munchausen by proxy, especially with how she's monetized the shit out of it and exploits the hell out of her kid.
Want more, please? I was detoxing him. His behavior was horrible. And I'm like, this is not fun. And I knew it was because I was detoxing him, because when I would miss it or when I give it to him, his behavior wasn't like that. So I stopped. I'm like, great, he's talking. Like, we're good. I didn't know that the reason his behavior was so bad was because I didn't open his drainage pathways. The reason I believe Elijah started parroting like within 24 hours was because that entire year I'd started cleaning up my gut health. And that meant I was cleaning up his too, because I was the one who was cooking. So I stopped giving him gluten, dairy, processed sugar dyes without even knowing, which is why I believe God's hand has truly been in every step of my son's journey. So right before Humana was born, I'm like, I'm gonna start detoxing him again, because this time I had more knowledge. I knew I needed open drainage. I knew that I needed to clean up his gut health. All these things I've been working on. So we started, and oh my goodness, like the changes were immense.
Clean up his gut health, open his drainage pathways. Does that mean you're just giving your kid a laxative? Like, what does that mean?
So I'm not saying like don't detox your child, but do understand that there is a lot that goes into that. It is so important to get those heavy metals out of your child's body, because it causes inflammation, because it causes brain damage. But here's the thing. Because every child is affected differently by these things, you don't know how bad the damage was for one kid versus another. You don't know if the child that started talking right after taking it had already been cleaning up their gut health, had their drainage pathways open. You don't know those things. And so everyone's journey is going to look different. So please don't take that and be like, well, like this means there's no hope for my child. No, it's just that it's going to look different for every child. Anyways, this is why I decided to start a course, because I really wish I would have had somebody to walk me through this and hold my hand. And I wish that I would have known where to look or what to do. I didn't have that. And what a lot of parents don't realize is this takes time. And it's hard, because like we want to see our kids improve, but it takes time to heal, because what happened to them also took time, right? Getting an epidural, mom being on antibiotics, getting those heavy metals, whether it was passed through utero or it was done at a wellness visit, all of these things happen over time. And there are studies that show these children literally have the measles living in their lower lymph nodes. Why? Because of those certain things. This is why a lot of moms say they see differences in their kids after this certain thing. Not because...
Oh, Lord. I don't want to, be a binary thinker here, but if getting an epidural, give me an epidural, Pitocin stat for the next one too. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm gonna give my kid antibiotics, and I take antibiotics too. Like, my kid's not autistic, and I am, but that's not because my mom didn't or did have an epidural, or like, I feel like this is also just like blaming the mom too, which it's not, but like that's how, in my mind, like how it comes off kind of, or rather how I could understand this message or this wording to be internalized by moms who are like, oh, well, it's my fault. So like I have to do something for them, which like obviously like they're your kid anyways, you got to do something for them. It's so messed up. The manipulation regarding this and like this entire conversation is so nuanced, but then is so just like multifaceted, and it's just so gross. It's got many facets and lots of levels and layers. It's like an onion or a parfait. I hate it so much.
And there are studies that show these children literally have the measles living in their lower lymph nodes. Why? Because of those certain things. This is why a lot of moms say they see differences in their kids after this certain thing. Not because it is the only one that has heavy metals. They all have heavy metals, every single one of them. But it's the one that has the most. And when you have a disease living in your body 24/7 that your body's fighting off, there is no time for your body to rest and digest. It's in fight or flight.
I don't think that's accurate either, but this is giving the vibe of like, oh, well, this makeup that you're using has like cancer causing ingredient or something like that. And it's like, yeah, it's the dosage that will kill you. Like if you have like a big bucket of that, then of course, yes. But it like in like this little tiny molecule, it is not going to hurt you. So
there's no time for your body to absorb nutrients. And when you can't absorb nutrients and your brain and your body isn't getting the nutrients that it needs, you're going to have learning disabilities. You're going to have a low IQ. You're going to get sick all the time. These are all of those things. And so helping your body heal, helping it get out of fight or flight, it takes time and it's not fun, but it is possible.
So right there, it sounds like she's insinuating or implying, suggesting, those are synonyms, Chelsea, calm down, that this detox is going to cure or heal autism. No, it's not. And maybe it's just the word detox, and that's like what's really getting me, and that's like the scammy aspect of it. But changing, you know, the diet, the lifestyle, their environment, making them more comfortable, that is really what's important.
A lot of people get upset when I say that you can help your child with autism, but it's really weird to me because I don't know any parent that would that literally would like sit with a bucket of popcorn and be so excited for a life of their child not being able to speak, being in diapers the rest of their life. It's crazy. And then people will say, well, if they could be healed, like, why wouldn't a doctor tell me this? Doctors are not taught to treat the root cause.
You can't cure autism. To figure out the root cause, you'd have to know what causes it. And guess what, Patrice? It's not known what causes autism. I personally am not a doctor, obviously. I personally think that it is more genetic from the paternal side of the family, but that's just me.
They are taught to diagnose symptoms and prescribe medication for that. Example, if you go into the doctor and you have a runny nose and a cold and you're struggling with brain fog and all these other things, they're going to say, well, you have a cold. Here's a prescription for that and go home, because they were taught to diagnose symptoms, not to get to the root cause. When in fact, that person could actually probably have mold in their home and be having the same symptoms, but they are treating symptoms, not root causes. With a child who has autism, it's going to look different for every child. This is why it's not a one size fits all. A child with autism that had severe gut damage from antibiotics, from a mom being on birth control, from whatever, that child is going to see a huge improvement.
From a mom being on birth control. How would me being on birth control affect my child? I'm not taking birth control when I'm pregnant. Are we talking about what I'm doing to my body prior to ever even being pregnant? Excuse me? I mean, I know that's like possible. Like, yes, you can pass things on to your child, but like, I feel like every single slide we go through and the further and further we get, the further we get into the medical, maternal, unfortunately, fear mongering. And it's really just the worst. Like, stop doing that. During Autism Awareness Month on Trixie Mattel's internet. What are you doing? Why? Stop.
That was injured from the bees is going to have a huge change when those heavy metals are taken from the body. Every child's journey looks different. If I look at Elijah's timeline and Peanuts, they both have very different timelines. They're both on the spectrum. They're both very, very different.
I'm just picturing like Wolverine being injected with adamantium. Is that a heavy metal? Is vibranium a heavy metal? What's going on?
And it's because their body needs help in different areas. They were damaged in different areas. So please know, like, it's not about curing your child and finding the cure. It's about helping their body get out of fight or flight. Extreme exposure to stress over time during these extremely developmental stages, years 1, 2, 3.
It's interesting that she's like, it's not about finding the cure. Well, the people who are going to find the cure are going to be like scientists and doctors. And you don't trust them. You trust naturopaths and people who have the doctor suffix, but it's, wait, suffix or prefix? Prefix, right? The doctor title and are just a chiropractor. No offense to chiropractors, but why are y'all the ones who are the craziest on the internet? Typically cult leaders. What are you doing? And you can see how they're like, well, Chelsea, what do you have the right to talk about? Anything I got, please. I'm not telling you what to do. I am saying that this is though. It is my opinion that this is not okay. And as someone who is autistic, am I an expert in it? No, friend. No. Listen, if it ain't animal facts, I ain't an expert. Because this is the Suarez Nature Tour. Buckle up, baby. Keep your hands and feet in the janky safari truck at all times. Not only is she exploiting her child, she's exploiting her child's diagnosis by fear-mongering. And her target is mothers who are so desperate to help their children and to be there for them. Yeah, this is not good. This is bad. Yeah, that's awful. And she sucks. I hope that her son is doing well. I hope that he is in some type of therapy or something, getting the care that he needs and deserves, that sweet little boy. I hope that she stops being in a multi-level marketing company and potentially taking advantage of people who are uneducated, ignorant, and desperate. Those are not insults towards those types of vulnerable individuals. That is an insult absolutely towards her. And yeah, literally her 3 pinned things are like all the people she's taking advantage of. There's the house hacking one. There's her kid being autistic and detoxing her child and like clearing out the butthole. I don't know. And then there's like she's showing like her tummy and stretch marks and losing weight. Also, I will, for legal purposes, this is a joke. Please do not, this is not me inciting violence. Don't touch anybody without consent. Your butt looks good. I will kick your tush. I will kick you in the thyroid so hard. It will send you into what the algorithm was last year, girlfriend. If you are posting before and after pictures, not only to promote some type of weight loss something without acknowledging that diet and exercise is key, but then also if it's like within a year of you being pregnant, I will not do anything because I am a grown woman. I might not hurt you, but I'll make a video about it. I appreciate you guys. Be nice to each other. Hey, go get your moles checked. In one of my last videos, I said that I was going to go get my frex poked, and I do not have skin cancer, thank God. If you do, sorry about that. You're doing great, sweetie. And wear SPF. My favorite skincare and sunscreen and all of that is La Roche-Posay. It's amazing. And I love it so much. I am on their PR list. Not sponsored, but I am on their PR list. And they're my favorite one I'm on. They're the best. All that's good. Your butt still looks so, so good. Oh my God, a squirrel again. What's he doing? Get out of here, buddy. Follow me on Instagram to see if I wasted money on a bird bath because like there's no birds in my bird bath and I'm pissed about it. Across all social media, I am at CCSUAREZ. I am really the most active on Instagram. I basically just recycle content over on TikTok and all of those other places. So yeah. So have a great day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. Stay spicy, keep those boundaries up, and I will see you in my next video, which will probably be addressing this girl yelling at me on Instagram. If she does, feel free to screenshot it and screen record it and send it to me because I'll most likely forget or yeah. Okay. Goodbye.